The mantra is quite simple. It's Om A Xie Hong, right? And I explained a little bit meaning of the mantra. Om A Xie is actually spelled this way with H-R-I-H, and there's a dot under, meaning it's a half like a sound is rather than a ha. Okay, Hong, it's like this. Hong. Right, the dot under the letter means it's a sort of like a expirated, nasalized. Okay, now the third syllable. How do you pronounce H-R-I, right, or but it's a single syllable. So most of the time, in Asia, whether Chinese or Tibetans, they kind of all pronounce this like a she. You want to expirate the sound rather than saying which is difficult to pronounce. Or enunciate, usually a lot of time we just say on a xie hong. Okay, hong or hong is fine. All right. So when we say this kind of syllable sounds, they are not really translatable. They are more like a musical note. So you want to pick out the sounds listening to a teacher. For example, I pronounce on a xie hong. You hear this personally yourself. In the person, physical presence is the best way. And you pick out a certain vibration, call it that. From this, my body, I produce this sound, right? Because my mind is thinking about this. So through my mouth, the function of my mouth, I speak and say, enunciate the mantra, Om A Xie Hong. Okay? The certain thing, imparted from me onto you. So this is what we mean by, this kind of a mantra learning. So in the old days, you really want to learn the mantra, you have to go to a teacher, listen to it, and then follow and repeat and follow and repeat. After a while, then you acquire the mantra, completely integrated, incorporated within your body. Okay, so this is the whole idea. So as I say, it's not translatable. Okay, so it doesn't matter what language it is. The transliteration here is according to international Sanskrit standard. Okay, the sound itself, however, this kind of syllable sound, there's really no way to translate. It's not a sentence. Okay, but there are certain meanings to the sound. Okay, the depth of or layers of meanings and how deep we go with this interpretation. So very often, we say Om, it can also be spelled as A-U-M. Because in Sanskrit, when you put A and U together, it becomes a O. Infinitely open eyes, ah, infinitely closing the sound is ooh. So when the breath, you open your mouth, the breath keep going up, expanding is ah. When the breath keep closing down, it's ooh, right? Until the lips is closed. And then if you were to keep in between the infinite open and infinite closing, you maintain that, that becomes like a O, right? So you get the idea. That's what, AU, then you can spell, then, when you actually enunciate, you can spell with the AU, but you pronounce with the O sound, On. That's how we come with On. Now, I think I covered this before, but let's get into a little bit more. AUN comes from basically three, Sanskrit terms, the idea of this. So basically, some say it's Ama, yeah, self. It can also be Ahamkara. Okay, so it takes the first letter A, Ah. So see, right? And the second syllable is also Ahamkara. So what is the difference between Ama and Ahamkara? Ama usually means self. Ahamkara usually refers to ego, the sense of ego. Ama becomes the ego itself. Okay, but sometimes depends on the different philosophical viewpoint. Ama can also be interpreted as the soul. All right, but in this case, we're going to maintain the Buddha's approach. Yeah, there's no such permanent self. Our sense of the self is constantly changing. So there's a transitory self. It's not permanent. It's impermanent. So the sense of the I am here. That's called the sense. I have that sense. That's the ego exists here. I am. That's called ahamkara. And then the self is the name for the self itself is called atma. Okay, so that's that's the sense of ah. Now u. Now most will say this is from the word buddhi. Okay, spell this way. Buddhi. Okay, 就是菩提啦，菩提就是 Buddhi，like Buddha，佛陀，Buddhi，啊，Buddhi or Bodhi，right？Bodhi，awareness。Okay, so the Wu sound comes from this Buddhi. Okay, how do you translate Buddhi then? If Buddha is the awakened, Bodhi is the awareness, and what's Buddhi? Intelligence. Okay, so the sense, in other words, the sense of the self exists with a certain intelligence. I have intelligence, so I have this sense. Okay, I think, therefore I am. So so I have this sense, so I can discern things. That's what makes me. Okay, so I know the body. The body keeps changing. I can, I grow up, I grow old, I die, and there must be another self, not of the body, but of the consciousness. So there exists the intelligence. So we call this Buddhi, right? Okay. Now, I have a different understanding at the same time. Yeah, it's coming from the second letter U, right? It can also come from the Sanskrit ut, which means in English arise, or rising, coming forth from ut. Okay, that's what it means. So so it's same idea. The intelligence has this kind of rising from the self. Okay, now the last one, M. M is manas in Sanskrit. Manas refers, oops, I misspelled it, didn't I? Let me correct this. There you go. Oh, that write it clear. Manas. Okay. Manas in the English is the mind. Okay, the mind that thinks. Okay. So the mind and the intelligence, does not refer to the same things. Right. So people have a mind. Doesn't necessarily they're very intelligent. They think well. People who are intelligent, naturally usually have a mind. And therefore the mana exists because there's a intelligence. That intelligence is from the self, the sense of the self, which exists in the assumption there's a self. Okay, so from ama, it lead to this sense of the ahamkara. It lead to this intelligence of the Buddhi. So Buddhi, we call that is the vehicle of the self. To manifest. We don't see the self, but we have that sense of self, because that sense we call the intelligence. So Buddhi is the vehicle. So this intelligence, we sort of made a logical deduction. There must be some kind of a self behind this intelligence. Now, arising out of this intelligence, then we have a mind. We think, right? So this is what the Om really means. Okay, so that just give you a rough idea of this. Right, then second syllable R is already explained, right? Right, very good. Now remember this, we kind of cover this, touch on it briefly in the past lessons, maybe not this much in depth. Right, but now let's look at the third syllable. Or xie, you can just pronounce xie. Now, then you probably can deduce, okay, then the letter is coming from certain Sanskrit terminology with this kind of understanding, right? Spiritual ideas. So H, is from what? Hetu. Hetu, cause, 因果的因, cause in Sanskrit is hetu. Okay, so we take the first letter H, right? R, the second letter R come from Ra. Okay, Ra can symbolize the syllable Ra can symbolize the element fire. Okay, so in Sanskrit, if we call the Raja with a line above the A, make a 1 2 1 2 length, like rather than R is R. Okay, so it's Raja. Okay, this means king. Okay, king 王，三横一竖王这个 king. All right, so Ra is fire. Fire is give off light. So king is supposed to be the divine being. Ancient time, right? Divine. Divine means giving off light. Okay, that's what the divine means from the Sanskrit deva. All right. All right. Now, if it's a single syllable, like without no line on top of the A, just Ra, then it's Raja. Okay. What's this? Okay. This, when it change, right? This means ashes, dust. Okay, dust or ash. Okay. So then, if you conjugate the Raji, 垃圾, 垃圾, trash. Okay, the Chinese 垃圾 comes from Sanskrit raji. Okay, 就是垃圾、垃圾的意思 trash. Okay, so dust and ash. So basically, then we send the second syllable for he. Okay, it's really dust. Okay, dust. So 我们叫尘世间嘛，这个尘土叫 dust. Okay, single ra. Okay, so this is the idea of what Ra is. The fire that burns, and once it given off illumination, it turns into dust. Yeah, so we have a saying in English, right? Like ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's come from the word Raji or Raja. Okay, so it's saying that the idea of emptiness. Emptiness does not mean it does not exist. Simply means all and every existence, they are constantly changing. So they ultimately all will turn to dust to dust. Okay, that kind of idea, ash to ash. Right. So then you say, what is the cause of the beginning? Sometimes people call the first cause of all and everything. Now, where you come from? How does the world created? Is there a very first God that created all and everything? They're looking for a cause. But in the Buddha's enlightenment realization, he's saying, well, but it's like the dust go to dust, right? Everything eventually, even if you don't, directly perceive this, you do have some kind of intelligence and relate to this. Everything around you eventually will turn to dust. Everything you see, including your eye, given long enough time, they all turn to dust. So which means what is the first cause? So in Buddhism, we do not say cause and condition, 因缘, the cause and condition. We say 因缘 as one thing. It should be called causal condition. Every conditions, come and go. Those conditions, various conditions come together, becomes a contributing factors. Then you can say the cause are leading to the next effects or next event. So when we say in Chinese 因缘, is from the Sanskrit hetu praptiya. Okay, into English, most people would say it's causes and conditions. That's actually the wrong interpretation. The proper way to say it should be causal condition, because 因缘 is not two separate things; it's one thing. Okay, I think there's a lot of people, study Buddhism, fail to realize this kind of discernment or differentiation. Okay, then here comes I, big I. Okay, this from the